You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, or hopefully it's welcome back. We are so glad to see you. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. Lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. If you are looking for an interview, you're not going to find it here. This show is all about presentations from experts, people I've hand chosen because they are at the top of their field. And I have to say, I'm very excited. I never announce anything having to do with numbers, but this is show number 57 for A Better You. Let's bring out our expert presenters. Joining us from the UK is Stephen Gillen. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Jack. How you doing? Nice to be here.
Good to see you. And joining us from Texas, Mr. Hiett Ives. Hi, Hiett.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jacalyn.
It's a pleasure to see both of you, my trusted team members. It's so nice to have you here. I just want to let our audience know that what will happen today is that Stephen will start off with his presentation, and after that we'll take a break, and then we'll go on to Hiett. So each one of them will share something to help make us better personally or professionally. Stephen, before we begin with your presentation, I'm going to spotlight you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you'll be talking about today?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm Stephen Gillen. I'm from the UK. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a global entrepreneur. I'm a best-selling author. My last book, The Monkey Puzzle Tree, it's being made into a major film. But I'm also a leading life and business mastery coach. There's a lot of other things. I do a lot of humanitarian work, but I'm very interested tonight in the mastery coaching. And tonight it's going to be something that's very, very key. And I'm sure everyone needs to hear this. It's going to be very, very specialist, innovative learning, and it's going to be on adversity and elevated growth.
Fabulous. We are excited to have you here. And I'm also going to announce that I am partnering with Stephen and his partner, and they're going to take this branding and marking everything to the next level. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Stephen. Hiett, please tell us a little bit about you and what you'll be sharing today.
Well, I am Hiett Ives, and I am a business marketing expert, business communications expert. And one of the things that people look at is the power of active questions, how to ask the right questions and active questions. And this is a field that Dr. Marshall Goldsmith has been very active in. And I'm going to share some of the 6 daily questions that you can ask yourself to make yourself better. That's it in a nutshell.
Thank you, Hiett. Okay, Stephen, are you ready to go? I know you are.
I am, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Hiett and I are going to go backstage. Have a great presentation. We'll see you afterwards.
Thank you. Hi, guys. Well, I must say, today's subject is so close to my heart. Now, I know that all of us have great challenges in life, great adversity. What I'm going to give you today is really exclusive learning. For some of you who don't know, I mean, I started my life in a war zone. I went through many challenges, care system, even prison. You know, I went on to be a global entrepreneur. I coach politicians, CEOs. Some of the MDs I work with are 200 million plus. How do you get there? How do you do that? How do you surmount these challenges? It's just one of the things I'm going to say, and I'm going to give some real examples because I want to give people value today on this and how to really uncode their world of adversity in the right way so they can exponentially really forward their journey for them in the right way. So hang in there, guys, as we're gonna go through this, but there's gonna be some real gems in there at the end. Now, how do you get from darkness to a life of beauty? Because the truth is, as I'm sure all of us will know if we look at our life, is as human beings, we all get lost sometimes or somewhere. We start as a blank sheet. We learn by falling down. It's the act of falling down that we learn by. You know, the people at the top, they always started at the bottom. What is the middle bit? What forges us? What makes it different from the exponential learning to the repeat mistakes that we all make? We're going to cover some of this stuff today. I would invite you to stay with this, guys, because let me just give you a quick synopsis of my life. Because one of the things I find in adversity learning is the secret language to have the authority of the person that you're teaching, that you understand that they've had really desperate levels of adversity, in many cases even below your own. You know, I started my life in Belfast. I had a lot of rejection. My surrogate mother died when I was very young. I come to London, England. I went through a traumatic care system. I beat drugs. I beat mental health. I was involved even in crime, guys. Yes, even in crime. I went to high security prison, all this stuff. I come through all of this stuff. A lot of adversity, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that people don't come back from. That's just a quick narrowing of the authority that I have of surmounting these challenges and solving these problems. I now go on to, you know, I'm a very successful entrepreneur in many industries, but I actually teach a lot of this, what I call internal engineering, of how I had to internally forge myself to elevate my life past these challenges and expedite my journey quickly. So this is what I want to give to you guys today. First, it's important to understand where we are in the world. This is very much a mindset issue in many ways. So what is adversity? What is luck? Is it innate? Is someone lucky? Are they born into a different family, so they have different opportunities? How does this work? I want to give you some really innovative specialist learning that I teach and what I understand. It's not conventional, guys. Let me prove it to you. Okay, is someone who builds skyscrapers in Manhattan, is he any more special than someone who lives in a mud hut in some underdeveloped country? She may be a single parent with 3 sons. Were they any different, any more special, any more successful, any more important in the world? Well, I'll prove it to you that actually they're not. And this is why we have to know our place in the world, and that life happens for us and not to us. Let's say this guy who builds skyscrapers in Manhattan, you know, he's very successful. But maybe the woman who lives in the mud hut, who doesn't even have running water, maybe one of the sons that she is bringing up is going to be the next president of the country. Maybe he will improve that country beyond the bounds that has ever been done in its history before, saving hundreds of millions of people. This is very possible. It happens. This is just an example to show you of the mindset that what is very important in adversity is that we anchor our place as part of, not apart from, in the world. This is very evident because of when we come from broken homes, or we don't get the right opportunities, or we're given the wrong programming, or we have trauma, or we have baggage to carry. This shades our view of where we actually need to be. And it's true that more adversity even finds us when we're programmed with that. But the good news is that a lot of this is learned, and we can unprogram ourselves. One thing I would invite you to look at, bearing this in mind, is think about your life and understand really that the levels of success, as I've certainly seen, are in a way, or life, are coded for bluffers. They really are. It's unbelievably magical. Of course, there are the practical issues, but there's a lot more going on here. Science has proved this. I'll give a little bit of reinforcement here. For an example, all the really successful old school, even CEOs, directors that I've met, they say we're all agreed. We talk about this and it's confirmed. We say, yeah, all the practical, sophisticated business systems and learning, this is very important. Of course it is. But they'll all say, including me, that what really pushed them forward on their journey more was their internal breakthroughs, their internal learnings. And this is where adversity starts, guys. It starts inside. Because the truth is that the further we can reach in will always be the further that we can reach out. It's kind of like understanding that life is like is crafted like a fine watch. So the main wheels of our purpose will not be disturbed. But there are many sub-wheels that turn and can be influenced and manipulated. Look at your own life and think of some of the repeated mistakes that you made over and over again. One of the reasons for this is, and I want you to really search for this, because this is a very specialized learning and a code to help you stop repeating mistakes that may be unhealthy to you, is that it's about the learning. We are pushed and pulled in life because of the learning. So it's really about the purpose. It's about learning. So when we realize that life is happening for us and not to us, and that we have the mindset to turn any adversity, and really this can be any adversity, guys. The trick is, yes, we may feel bad about a whole host of things in different degrees, but there is a process here, and you will even know in your own life there will be a time when you will be able to look around the corner and look at that same adversity in a different light. Here is the answer. This is the answer. And the idea is to get to that learning and program yourself as quickly as possible. Turn things on its head. It's actually a gift. What is the gift in any painful learning, any painful trauma? There will always be one. No matter how dark a place, there will always be one. What is it? The reason why we need to find, the way to find this, I would say as well, this is important, is always look at the brutal truth. When we look at the brutal truth, then we get the right answers and we ask the right questions. This is really important in finding the right answers to our adversities, because when we really learn these lessons, guys, and they are all there in big or small challenges or adversities, guess what? We don't get presented them same circumstances in the same way again. I promise you. This is another indication of there's a lot more going on here, and this is about learning, and purpose. So if I remind you again about how life, in a sense, if we look at it like a crafted fine clock and the main wheel is not going to be disturbed, the sub wheels are really where we keep coming back sometimes to the same problem. The reason for this is because we haven't looked at the truth of it and we haven't found the right solution that we need for us at that time to move forward. This is really important. If you look at your life and the litany of mistakes and different stuff, if you disrupt this in this way, it will change. The patterning will change, I promise you. It's like, there are many different ways to look at this. It's like, think about if we have a really, so much overbearing problems. There's just so much we can't see the wood for the trees. How do we do that? We take it a piece at a time. But there are many tricks here, because one of the tricks is that if we need to climb Everest, the trick is not to look up. The trick is to just concentrate on the first step. And we know that Everest is there. We know that we have to cross it, but concentrate on the first step, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. The energy will change, and by the time you're halfway up the mountain, you will realize that there will come a time you will look up. And when you look up, it will not be the same challenge again. This is just an example to show you how the mind works and how in many ways you need to trick the mind. There are many things I do in coaching, many innovative ways. There's one that I love about the army that arrives on the hostile beach. So the first order the general gives is burn the boats. Burn the boats? Wow, this is crazy. It's not. It's creating a boundary straight away, because when you burn the boats, you take away all plan Bs, because at that point you don't need no doubt. You need certainty again. This changes the whole thing. So it focuses, and there is only one way, and that is forward. Now, I use this example because we can trick our own mind with these codes, and we can actually position ourselves in positions where we must perform. We must win. We must overcome an adversity in a healthy way. Luck, here's another one about luck. I'll just cover luck quickly. People say, he's lucky. He was just in the right place at the right time. He had a great skill, or he knew people, or he just worked for him. This is not my experience. I mean, what I know is I don't know about any luck. I would say I was never that lucky in my life. What I do know is the harder I work and the more I listen and the more I develop as a human being, the luckier I get. It's really as simple as that. Another thing is, people, bless them, they sit there. Many people, they sit there, they wait for this eureka moment. They wait for this chance to come in that is going to change absolutely everything. Have you been here with this? Many of us would travel this journey anyway. There's no wrong or right here. There's just ways to win, and ways and formulas. It's not so much hacks. It's real intervention and specialist learning that can get you over these valleys really, really quickly. And they are life-changing. They are game-changing. So people wait for this one chance that's going to change everything. But of course, this is rubbish. It's like winning the lottery, because it's not actually that. Again, it's about having the answers, because success really in life is having the aptitude and the ability, as I said earlier, to learn by that mistake so you don't repeat it. Just by that application, you will keep elevating your life anyway, if you get that model right. It's very important. It takes practice, but this is what I do with some already very, very, very successful people. So people wait for this one chance, right, to change everything, but it's not that. Because what it actually is it's not one chance, it's not 100 chances, it's not 1,000 chances, it's thousands and thousands of choices made over sometimes seconds, minutes, and years. Consistency. This is success. And this internal engineering changes the whole emphasis of adversity that comes to people's doors. It really does. It's about averting that, and it can be averted. You can become more luckier, and you can sand down any adversities. A lot of the things I'm telling you are ways that work, ways that will change your life if you can embrace them and have the discipline to apply them daily. Another thing I would say is very important. Many people talk about this. They talk about manifesting, the universal laws. It's very true. Universal laws are certainly there. Science has absolutely proved this as well. Without getting too technical, it's very true. What we are our thoughts. Yeah, our mind is a switching station. Our brain doesn't actually think. So these thoughts come through, but the quality of our thoughts and our deeds and our actions and what we output are what we invite back. This is very, very important. So it's important to get our secret internal language of us and what we want very, very fixed into a good formula, a good plan with consistency. When you get the emotion, the thoughts, the deeds, even the words, and you get this right with consistency and put this out. There is no more powerful weapon against adversity and in elevating your success. I want to give a bit of value here, and I want to just give another example about this. There are many things that I do, but I'm going to talk about the hierarchy of individual life priorities. This is just one to give you a window into the internal stuff that when we reconfigure in the right way, this is where it's at. This is where you can really elevate your life in any circumstance. You can uncode yourself and really be anything you want to be. Yes, there is a middle bit. Yes, there is work involved. Yes, there is learning. Yes, there are formulas. But you can set yourself up in the right way where you will always be successful at what you put your hand to, pretty much, with these things. If not that, you'll be successful at something else. I promise you. So the hierarchy of individual life priorities, what is that? I'd like you to sit down, if you get time, sit down, piece of paper, pen, and think, what are the top most important things in your life? Now, these should come pretty quickly, but I don't want it to come too quick. I want you to get them right. So I want you to just think about it. Just be mindful for a moment. The top three, for some people might be family, job, car, or, even wife, children, money, or even golf, work, women, I don't know, whatever. This is a very personal thing. When you get your top 10, I want you to have a look at that. It's important that you get them seamless and you be honest with yourself what they are. Now, it's very proven, and I want you to look at this, but that's why it's important to get it right. But you will find that the top three in your hierarchy of individual life priorities are your main drivers. You will not need no help or no intervention to complete any task related to these top three things. They're so encoded in you. But the other thing is, these are the top three. What you will find is the 7 ones underneath, whatever they may be in your life, you will find difficult to complete, and you will need at times intervention in these areas. Now, there's a lot of specialist work that I do just in the hierarchy of individual life priorities. I get guys, for instance, they're very, very successful. They may have a cap of, I don't know, $1 million, $1 million annually, whatever. And for some reason, they can't seem to get over this cap. Now, there are many reasons for this, and this is just a light lesson. There's a lot more work that needs to be done in this, but this is just a lesson of what the kind of blocks are that hold us back and cause us unnecessary adversity, and we don't even understand it. Is that maybe some people, I'm just taking a example of some of the people I've coached and took through this. Maybe it's work, family, children is a very common one. But you will realize that nowhere in them top three is wealth creation. There's not wealth creation in there. This is very, very important. So, even though we may have them three in there, it's very important to forge in wealth creation in the right way into the top three levels. One of the things that I say is, look, it's really easy. Is one of the disciplines, one of the formulas for overcoming this is to really reprogram yourself and understand, okay, work. For my work to succeed and to be successful so I can look after everyone who is under me, then I need to create wealth. Wealth creation is important to me in my work. For my family to succeed and be healthy and happy and protected, it's very important that I create wealth so they're looked after correctly. So wealth creation, and so it goes on. This is just an example. So it's things like this, and this reprogramming. There are other things that need to be done, but this is one lesson. This reprogramming and understanding into the psyche changes things. It changes things. So this is just an example to, you know, to know that adversity is not actually what people think. People wait for adversity to come to them, but you know, it's not about that. Life happens. It's not adversity. It's actually lessons, and you know, it's there for the learning. Or some things can come in, but the thing is to always step forward, take your life in your own hands, and build a life that is worthy and beautiful. Learn more, to be more, be around the right people. You will become luckier, and you will have less adversity. You know, so the thing that I would say is find yourself every minute of every day on your journey and practice on the life that you want against adversity. I'll just leave you with one last thing on this. One really helpful thing. Two actually, because you know, this is why it's why a king has a call, you know, around him. It's why a CEO has a board around him. It's why wise people have advisors, is because they know that we're only truly wise when we know that we're not. And we can't actually see our blind spots. So we need the right chosen people around us who we trust with the necessary skills, who are not yes people, to help us through our blind spots so we can elevate our lives and grow more. This is one thing. This is very important. This is why it's very important to go out and, you know, even go to your friends and look for that constructive criticism. This is a great growth tool. You know, another thing is, it's a really simple one, is just to actually have a real word with yourself. Life is so busy, but it's important to narrow it, to center yourself sometimes in the midst of all of it, and have, you know, as we say, have a good talk to yourself. Actually, where are you at? What do you need to do? What are your motivations? Can you improve? These are the ways to disrupt adversity, to chain adversity, to get a meaning to adversity, and ultimately to make adversity work for you. It certainly worked for me and my life. It's a work in progress. I'm very blessed with the wonderful people I have around me, but it is about doing, and it is about mindset, guys, and it is about knowing that life does not happen to us, it happens for us. Thank you for listening. You know, I wish you God bless, and I hope this helps you expedite your own journey towards happiness and your success.
Brilliant. So many wonderful points there. I'm going to take us to break, but before I do, just some comments. So first of all, I love the analogy of the clock or the watch, and thinking about the gears inside that get off kilter. And when I think about my own life, the mistakes that I've made, the same pattern of behavior over and over and over again. And sometimes I've had to physically take myself out of the situation, which might mean moving. Sometimes, like, I actually moved to get away from a situation because I didn't have the strength to deal with it and figure it out. I think the other thing that you talked about, the top 10, when I came up with the 3, I didn't have wealth creation in there at all. And I know I need wealth creation. I didn't even think of that one. I just thought of health, my mother, and my business. They were my 3. Another thing that you pointed out, because you and I have talked about this, is that you don't know what you don't know You know, like I know now that I'm absolutely horrible at social media. I'm horrible at it. And I spend so much time doing it, hours and hours every week, and it's not getting the results. So I need to work with an expert like you and other experts because we don't know what we don't know. So they were, yeah. So thank you for that. Hi, would you like to add in anything?
Well, when he started to describe himself at the front end, my favorite author is Sir Jeffrey Archer, whom you probably know. Yeah.
I have met him. Yeah, I have actually met Jeffrey Archer.
Well, his prison background, of course, his prison trilogy, that the third one was supposed to be a year after he got out, but he had to wait a couple of years because the fictional characters were too real, and they were able to link them to who he was talking about.
Yes, interesting. Anything else, Hiett, that you want to add?
What I am going to be talking about actually piggybacks off of this. I don't know if you know Marshall Goldsmith. Stephen, have you heard of? Well,
no, I'm sorry. The subject, yeah.
If you stay on the front end of if you're able to stay for a few minutes, you're going to see that I'm going to pick up on a lot of the elements that you talked about relative to building yourself and monitoring yourself and moving yourself forward.
It's just so absolutely key. You have to harness it, but you have to step into it. You know, life is, it's working for us, not to us.
Yep.
And these shifts are absolutely pivotal.
I have to share with all the people I interview who have been through real adversity, I hear the same thing over and over again, that if it didn't happen, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing today. And they're actually grateful that it happened because it opened up a new world. So I think that it's really key what you mentioned, Stephen, that it's not happening to us, it's happening for us.
I hope it really helps. And, it really is coded. And, that's why I said it's important to kind of dovetail into people to get the messaging in, how that look, this is my adversity. So there's that, that joining, so the ears are open to get the message in is very important too. Adversity is a funny thing. It needs to be worked with very
when you look at people like Mandela and Gandhi, unbelievable cruelty and adversity in their early life. And they both became world, national, international leaders.
Exactly. We are going to take a quick break. Thank you so much, both of you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Great.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct, tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation starts.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go to a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We are so happy to have you here on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. And we've got two A Better Yous right here. So if you just missed it, Stephen did a brilliant presentation, and you can go over to our YouTube channel after the show, Dr. Jacalyn LLC, and you can catch it from the beginning. Hiett Ives, we are on to you. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, perfect. I don't have your deck, so you're going to present without, I assume.
No, I've got it. I send it to you.
It's not, you have to share this screen.
All right, let's do it right here. Screen.
Perfect.
Share screen.
And while he's doing that, Stephen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I know it's late there in the UK, so we really appreciate you staying up late to be with us.
My pleasure, Jacalyn. You're doing a wonderful job, really. And look, you know, there's so much wonderful content on here for people.
Well,
you know, no, I say for the serious people, you need to get a hold of your life, right? You know, and it becomes so much more beautiful when you do. So
it takes work. It takes an effort, and it's an effort that you have to make every day. So, All right, I'm going to take Stephen and I backstage. Hiett, I'm going to share your deck, and Hiett is going to be going in a different direction for his topic tonight as opposed to where he's been. So we're excited for this lesson. Here we go. Stephen, we're going backstage.
Thank you, Jacalyn. And we're going to look at the power of active questions. I was introduced to Marshall Goldsmith, who he's been called one of America's top 50 great leaders by the Wall Street Journal. He's the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Management Association, and he's the founder of the 100 Coaches. He's widely renowned thought leader, author, and executive coach. In his own words, he wants to help successful people achieve positive, lasting change in their behavior for themselves, their people, and their teams. He wants to help us overcome limiting beliefs and behaviors that to achieve greater success. He helps people understand how our beliefs and environments, he wants to help us understand how our beliefs and environments in the environments we operate in can trigger negative behavior. So with that, let me walk through the power of active questions. And I'm going to share this with you at the end to where you can actually get some of these yourself. Your behavior matters. Your behavior matters, perhaps even more than your achievements. You know, what you did in the past is one thing, but what you're doing right now is crucial. Your life, you live daily with your choices to be a better person, while you don't live with your promotions, your degrees, your status. When you want to be engaged, you want to avoid the typical surveys that ask what your bosses or your managers can do to improve. You've all been involved with that, where you're looking at what are the causes. These types of surveys provide companies with many valuable suggestions. However, they are diagnostic rather than curative. Key words there. They're diagnostic. They're looking at what the situation is. They're not looking for a cure. And what we're going to be looking at here are curative questions. They do not put the individuals in an engaging mindset. It's almost an accusatorial mindset as opposed to an engaging mindset. So here's a counterintuitive belief that the daily questions that we're going to be looking at here in just a minute, these daily questions are in fact a very tough test, one that is the hardest you're ever going to have to take. And why is it the hardest you're ever going to take? Because you write the questions yourself. You're unable to blame someone outside for the entities. You're unable to blame some outside entity for imposing goals that are not yours. These are things you put on yourself. You are the only one responsible for the right answers. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. You already know what you're supposed to do. This is why when you put these questions together for yourself, that it is truly the hardest test you're going to ever take, because you already know the answers. The way the questions are phrased is important. Active questions are far more helpful than passive questions. I think you'd all agree to that just in general terms, but I'm going to show you in specific terms how active questions yield a whole lot more information for you. Only you can put yourself in an engaging mindset. This engaging mindset. And the best way to do this is by asking active questions about your work, your play, your personal life, your interactive life, putting all of the questions that you want to get answers to in an active format. Instead of the passive, were you happy today? Yes, no. Well, of course, were you happy today? No, because this happened. Or yes, but blah, 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 blah. You ask an active question. Did you do your best to be happy today? Look at the difference in that question. Did you do your best to be happy today? Now you can rate that on a 1 to 10 scale. So it's not a yes, no. And if you rate it low, then your challenge is to raise it the next day. Or if you rate it high, your challenge is to keep it high the next day. So all of these active questions are phrased in the did you do your best to be? And we'll fill in the blanks here as we go along. The power of active questions means the ball is now in your court. It's not, were you happy? Yes, no. Did you do your best to be happy? And you take it from there. You have to evaluate and take responsibility for your own actions. Oh, sorry. This moves you from the did I perform to the how much did I try category. Did I perform? Yes or no. How much did I try? 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a very meaningful distinction. If I am unhappy, it's too easy to blame it on outside factors. No, I'm not happy today because. Yes, I'm happy. Yeah, but. Adding the qualifier, did I do my best? Did I do my best? This injects the element of personal ownership into ownership and responsibility. This is why it's a hard test. Active questions themselves both elicit an answer and create a different level of engagement with your goals, because you're grading yourself against your own goals. So it elicits the active questions elicits the answer and creates a different level of engagement. You have to measure on a relative scale, comparing the most recent day's effort with previous days, because this is a daily question. A daily question. A lot of people go through their I am statements, beginning of the day, end of the day. Well, this is the end of the day questions, active questions. When you score low on did I do my best, you have only yourself to blame. And by the same token, you can challenge yourself to do better the next day. While you may fail to hit your goals every time, there's no excuse for failing to try. Everyone can try. Now the questions themselves. The following questions, we're only going to do 6 of them. Goldsmith has a list of 63 that he deals with on a daily basis, and I'm going to show you how you can get a hold of all of those, plus the report from which I am taking this presentation a little later on here. But the following questions cover the basic codes of belief of personal engagement and are applicable to other areas of life as well. Come on. My apologies, it's deciding not to move forward. Come on. I may have to do the balance of this. Come on. All right, now the questions. All right, here we go. By asking these 6 simple questions at the end of each day, thousands of people to this point have benefited from a marked improvement in most identified areas. Let's reveal the 6 questions. Question number 1, did I do my best to set goals today? Did I do my best to set goals today? And that's a 1 to 10. Did I do my best to make progress towards my goals today? Now, you may have set your goals. Yeah, I've got a 10 on that. But then what did you do your best to make progress towards those goals? So that's a 1-2 punch. Did I do my best to find meaning today? And here again, you define the meaning. You define meaning. Did I do my best today? Did I do my best to be happy today? Are you happy? Were you happy today? Yes, no. Did you do your best to be happy today? Well, I could have done better. Or yeah, I went out of my way to be happy. Did I do my best to build positive relationships today? Did I do my best to build positive relationships today? And then, did I do my best to be engaged today? Well, one of the ways you create positive relationships is by being engaged. So these are all related questions, and these are the top 6. He has additional questions like, did I do my best to be kind, to be patient, to be a good listener, to express gratitude? We have questions in the area of health, in family and family and friends, personal time management, professional time management, and so on. So there is a full range of questions here. And as I say, he's got 63 of them. You can pick the people that have gone through this series. Here are some of the results. Just on these 6 questions, 34% of the participants reported improvement in all 6 areas. When you start on a daily basis to evaluate, to rate those 6 elements, some 34% of the participants improved in all 6. 67% improved on at least 4 of them. 91% said they improved on at least 1 of them, and 9% didn't change on any items at all. Unfortunately, there are also 3% got worse on one or more items, and 0.6% got worse in all 6 items. Not sure where they were coming from. So, in summary, active self-questioning can trigger a new way of interacting with your world, with our world. Active self-questioning sharpens your sense of what you can actually change. And this goes right along with what Stephen was talking about earlier, about what can you change. When you actively self-question yourself and get with the right people, you have a great power to change things. The effect alone, the effort alone, makes your days worthwhile. When you know at the end of the day, you are going to have to evaluate yourself in those 6 areas, or 6, 16, 26, 36, 46, or the 63 that Marshall Goldsmith does on a daily basis. When you do succeed, after weeks or months of persistently asking the same active self-questions, it's a success that you can truly value. You're going to be able to really, truly value yourself and what you're doing when you get into the habit of using these active self-questions. If you want to get the full report that I built this presentation on and all those 63 questions, simply go to Marshall at marshallgoldsmith.com and ask for his survey and business questions. He will get back to you immediately. I texted him emailed him one evening and had it the next day. So you can do that. And then relative to what I'm doing, this is, as Dr. Jacalyn said, this is my number 8 of 10. And I've got others in specific categories and examples, specific industry applications. I also have That Ain't Not Right, the Use and Abuse of the English Language. Stephen, this is a result of me winning an essay contest in a Jesuit boarding school in Old Windsor as a 7th grader. We'll talk more about that later, but I have a great love and appreciation for the British school system and Brits in general, and here's part of the result of that. Also, I have a That Ain't Not Right, the Use and Abuse of the English Language opt-in weekly mail piece that I put out, a MailChimp. You can go to hiettives.com to receive your copy every Tuesday morning. With that, here's my post-presentation follow-up. You can reach me at hiettives.com, 832-372-6900. And with that, I will return control to Dr. Jacalyn.
Well done. Well done. I think it's interesting to think about being open to learning about ourselves, right? So many times in life we just have our head down, we're just doing whatever it is, and if we find out information, that means we might have to change. And I think that's where people find the fear. So I think you brought some great ideas, self-reflection, and how are we walking through our days? How are we talking to ourselves? How are we setting ourselves up to succeed? So I think that was a great way that you and Stephen kind of played off each other.
It was amazing. Yeah, when I heard him talk, I said, wait a minute, we haven't even talked. I don't even know this, but you don't know what I'm going to say. But they played together very well.
Yes, they definitely did. So, and you spoke on something that's different than what you normally speak on. So how did you feel doing it?
I really felt quite confident. I had to put a little more time and effort into it to get the information out of the report and then put it all together. So what's really going to be interesting is tomorrow's presentation, because I have absolutely no knowledge at all of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow.
As of this moment, or was that before? Okay.
As of this moment, my intent at the beginning of the week was to get this thing taken care of Tuesday and Wednesday and have today and tomorrow to put tomorrow's together. I will have from, it's 5 o'clock here. I've got less than 24 hours to come up with a brand new presentation. So you'll be the first to know.
You're like me. You're like, I work really well under pressure. So it's interesting. But just what you said there, that just shows the kind of person that you are. You're constantly wanting to learn. And you're not afraid to put yourself in an uncomfortable position in order to do that.
Well, I found it to be so true and something that I wanted to share with others that I said, my goodness, what better way to do it than, to make what you saw is what's on these 2 pages, that's what I got from Dr. Goldsmith. But from that, I was able to put together what you just saw. And, it's helped me focus more on myself and what I need to do in the process of educating others and sharing it with others.
Well done. I'm glad that you shared that lesson today. That was insightful for me also.
You're more than welcome.
While you're here, Hiett, I'd love to just chat with you to give our audience a little bit of background. We are in the process of planning this enormous event, and we're at the beginning stages, and the event is going to be in October, second or third week of 2022. So what value do you think people can get by attending an event in person next year?
Well, I don't know that I have too much credibility in this area. I wrote a book about a year ago called 88 Successful Event Strategies. I have done over a 6-year period. I did over 25 international trade shows on 5 continents and in multiple industries. So the advantage of an event like what you are planning for October of 2022 is the ability to interact with your peers, to learn from experts, and to show what you have as a product or service that you can offer to the entire audience, or more realistically, a specific segment of the audience that you will be able to quickly identify and interface with, in a 3-day period. So they are absolutely invaluable, and I think people are looking to get back to that sooner rather than later.
And for people who aren't aware, and obviously you are a published author on event strategies, how much goes into the planning of an event, let's say for 1,000 people?
Well, let me put it this way. When I was on the receiving side, the head of a large corporate operation, if an event manager came to me in less than 18 months, if he said, I've got an event that's coming together in 6 months and I want you to be a part of it, I wouldn't do it. Because if they're trying to put it together in 6 months, it's highly unlikely that it's going to be as successful as it should be. We've got almost not quite 18 months, but that's literally the time frame that, and you've actually been working on this for a couple of months. So the 18-month time frame that you've got gives you the opportunity to put all of the elements together correctly and get it on people's calendars well in advance.
Thank you for that. And that's a really big, important point, because if people are going to be traveling, they need to get it on their calendar. They need to make a commitment, because they're going to have to make a commitment to attend in advance.
Well, and exhibit too, because most corporations are on a fiscal annual year. So come August, September, they're putting together their budgets for the next calendar year. So by August, September of this year, we will have all of those details for participation, for exhibiting, for speaking, so that they can not only put the dates on their calendar, but put the money in their budgets to make it happen.
That's an excellent point, because we want to have them budget in Journey to a Better You.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure seeing you and having you here. And as you mentioned, you are coming back tomorrow, and I think you're on the afternoon slot. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
And I will be in the afternoon slot next Friday. I've sent you an email.
I saw that. Yes, that's my mom's birthday, I think. So I got it. You're switching it around. So received, confirmed and received.
Well,
all right.
You lost on next Thursday. You lose out to a crawfish boil.
Okay, well, that's okay. Me or crawfish?
Yeah, a client crawfish boil. My wife and I, this is the fourth crawfish boil in the last 2 months that we've been to.
Well, that sounds like fun. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, we're very much looking forward to it. Very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being here, and thanks for being such an exceptional team member. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Likewise. Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye. Well, that's a wrap for 5 shows today and 5 shows yesterday. And I think tomorrow we have 7 or 8 shows. I'm not sure. But we are just glad that you are here. We're glad that you are finding content that you like. Thank you for the emails. I wanted to mention I am streaming for those who are listening and not watching. You can have a free copy of my ebook that I just published and became a bestseller. I have my little piece of paper to remind myself June 4th at 4:50 p.m. I celebrated alone, but that's okay. And I want you to have a free copy of my ebook. Who is this book for? It's for women in business. It's for women. It's for anyone who feels that they've been kept back from opportunities, that opportunities were taken away from them. It's for anybody who wants to learn how to put together a live streaming broadcast, which is different than a podcast. There's a lot of difference because anything could go wrong. And if it does, we don't want anything to, but we just have to keep going. All day when I do these shows, things happen, and we just keep going, and you just laugh about it because it's life and there's no reason to get so serious. But when you have a podcast, you don't have a lot of the pressure and stress that you have when it's a live broadcast. So please feel free to email me, Jacalyn at drjacalyn.com. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. A list of our shows for tomorrow: Life's Amazing Journey with my co-host, John Christian, who's joining us from Portugal. We also have A Better You, which will be number 58. I have a story to tell. And then we have A Better You. That's when Hiett's coming back. We have stories of hope, inspiration, overcoming adversity. We've got the Pet Psychic Amina, and we've also got the variety show. So we look forward to having you back with us. And I wish you a very pleasant evening, a pleasant morning, afternoon. Take care of yourselves. And just remember to find out who you are, like yourself, and then share the beauty and all the talent that you have with the world. Don't keep it to yourself. We need more people like you. Bye.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.